here in Norway, it's possible to invest money or buy a house that is in construction. So the house or the apartment has not been built yet, so it is being constructed. And the way you do it is that you pay 10% of the full amount early, and the contract is that when the construction is finished, then you have to pay the remaining 90%. And if you fail to pay the remaining 90%, then you will not get the house, and you will also lose the 10% that you invested in beginning. And so some people, what they thought they could do is that they pay the 10%, and when before the time comes to take over the house and they have to pay the remaining 90%, they sell the house with some profit. Is this acceptable?
So they sell the house after the house is completed, or
no, they sell the house before the house is completed, because when it's completed, they will have to pay the remaining 90%. Or it could be, I don't know the details of it, that maybe half a year after the house is completed, it's also possible to have the date that you actually have to pay the remaining amount and move in. I'm not sure of the exact details there.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. See, the first part of the question, which is it allowed to buy a house under construction like this, whereby you pay 10% as a down payment, and then you pay the remaining throughout the construction period, and then once the house is ready or almost ready, you have to clear the debt. Well, this in general is acceptable. It's called the Aqd al-Istisna', and the scholars mentioned it with some conditions. Yeah, if something happens, etc., to the property, if something happens to you, who owns the property, the money that has been given, etc., etc. It is called the Aqd al-Istisna', but generally speaking, the scholars accept it. Okay, so I will not look at the details of the contract here because maybe you don't have them. I need to, if you want me to confirm that particular part of the question or that particular part of the contract is permissible, then I need to look at the details of the contract itself. Okay, the guidelines is that the contract is clear. Okay, and the responsibilities of each party are clear. Okay, so that you pay this much amount of money towards the property, and once the property is completed, okay, then you pay the remaining. Who owns the property throughout the construction, and what are the responsibilities of you and the company if something happened during the construction? For example, if something happened to the construction and it didn't continue, the building or the tower collapsed or burned or whatever, it did not continue, what will happen? Secondly, if, for example, you fail to continue in the contract, what are you going to do? They will take the property, and what will happen? So these are critical questions need to be asked. Leave them now. Now the second part of the question is it allowed to sell? Is it allowed to sell the property? Although, I guess the question is it allowed to sell the property although you did not clear it off? Yes? You did not pay the full amount. I think this is the question, isn't it? Yeah?
Yes, because you haven't
paid the full amount. Yeah, that is not a problem. That is not a problem. You can sell it. Why? Because the amount that is remaining is seen as a debt now. Okay? And this confirms that the way it works, that the company is actually or has actually sold you the property, okay, in the outset, from the all the way from the beginning. Once you signed the contract, you have what you have bought the property. The property is actually yours, and they are just developing it for you. Okay, so anyway, if it is allowed to sell the property, if they allows you, I don't know, if they allow you, do they allow to sell the property? So this means that the property, yes, so this means that the property is yours. Otherwise, how can you sell it? Yeah. So if they allow you to sell the property, it means that the property is yours, and the outstanding amount serves as what? As a debt that you have to pay off later between you. It is a debt between you and the company. It has nothing to do with the other transaction. Now, if the property was not completely developed, then selling it, it is okay technically, but the conditions and that the terms and the conditions of the sale has to be clearly stated. For example, what is your responsibility, yes, towards the completion of the development of the property? What is your are you transferring the ownership, okay, from you to this person, and then the company should be dealing with the buyer directly, or no, you are selling it as it is now, okay, yeah, and so on. Those circumstances have to be mentioned clearly in the contract.